Okay, so we program our mind to function in certain ways. So when we're born, we don't have this program set. Over time, we have this programming from our parents. Want to make sure I get this in the best possible way. Let me see. Right, so when we're kids, our subconscious mind is like wide open. We're so receptive to any information. So if our parents tell us something, it goes into the program. It creates the programming, okay? Now, after a certain age, some say around age 7 or whatever, we don't know the exact number, we start to have these programs in place so that any new information will only be accepted if they sort of fit into the program that we already have. And changing the program becomes extremely, actually it's impossible unless you know exactly what to do. Now, how we change the subconscious mind's programming is through 2 ways. Emotional impact is that when you have a positive experience of something, or repetition. Okay, keep those in mind. I'm going to get back to them. Now, why the programming matters is that the programming sets your expectations, and the expectations create the results, right? As was proven in quantum mechanics, your expectations of an outcome create the outcome, manifest the outcome. Before the expectations is infinite potential. When you have a conviction, when you have a belief, when you have an expectation, that's what the energy will crystallize into. That's why the beliefs that you have in your mind are the very limitations of your life. If you're not able to manifest the things that you want, if you're not able to make your desires happen, it's because you have beliefs and convictions that are getting in the way. You have beliefs and convictions that say it's not possible, or it's not possible under these conditions, or whatever. So your beliefs are the key. If you can change your beliefs, you can change your results. And don't believe me, try it for yourself, okay? I don't want you to just take this information blindly. In fact, I don't recommend anybody just take anybody's information blindly. The only way you will know is through personal experience. I know this from personal experience because I know things that I have held for a fact. Once I changed my conviction on it, my results have changed. However, is it easy to change a belief? Yes and no. So here's how we're already programmed. As I told you, it was emotional impact and repetition. Now, we are constantly given information from our timelines, algorithm, from news on the TV, from media, from all kinds of sources. And usually they're kind of on a similar vibrational frequency, okay, which is pretty low. Because if you look at the average, the vibrational frequency of people is around 150, 100, 150, which is like fear, anxiety, worry, shame. It's just not honestly, it's not a great place. That's why we see a lot of programs around, like the news are all about scaring us and fear and worry, and like there's like true crime is such a huge thing that I used to be really into as well. All these negative things that was just normal to us, and a lot in our culture is like stuff that is actually pretty negative that we just take in as normal. Like it's not so much, we don't have a lot of media that we consume that are really good for our hearts, right? That are really uplifting, that are really soothing to our hearts, that really soften us, that really make us feel good. It's a lot of things that create anxiety and worry and, you know, conflict and, you know, shame and like all kinds of negative stuff. So we're already being programmed this stuff, right? It's nobody's fault. It's just how we tend to, that's just what we create. This is the mess we've created for ourselves, okay? So we're already being programmed. So you're already being emotionally triggered by things you see on the news, by, you know, programs that you're watching, by things you hear, you know, from your parents. So things that you were told growing up, those were emotional impacts. If someone, you know, if your parents were very loving and they had a really strong religious faith, then you probably have a really good association with that religious faith. and you will want your kids to grow up in that same faith, and that, you know, you will have like a really good feeling with it. You're programmed with that doctrine. Whereas if you had, you know, really mean parents and they were really religious and they taught you this religion and your experience was really negative, then your programming is like, oh, I hate this religion. That's like negative programming, right? You'll do anything to get away from that while still having some, while still carrying that pattern with you still, right? So you'll still carry that negativity because you're programmed with it. This is also, the subconscious mind is also where we have addiction. So addiction is caused by having like a really negative thing, like a trauma, negative event that causes negative feelings, that creates the programming in your mind. So it creates the habit. Anything that really has an impact on the subconscious mind will create a habit. That creates your autopilot. What most people don't know, I'm going to show you an illustration that my son did. What most people don't know, our conscious mind is about 3 to 5% of our mind, of our thoughts. Our conscious mind is our critical thinking skills. It's our ability to evaluate, is this true or not? We do ideally want things to go through the conscious mind first. Okay, you want to be able to evaluate, do I want this information? Is this something that I want to feed myself? Usually we don't. Usually we're on autopilot, right? We are in the subconscious emotional mind, which is the autopilot. So there's structures there that we just run on the program. We're not questioning every move we make. We're not questioning everything our eyes land on. We're just running on autopilot, right? So we do ideally want to evaluate, that's why I'm encouraging you to evaluate this information. Take it first in the conscious mind. Is this worth exploring? Do I want to test this? And then put it to the test. But when we are not evaluating something, if something impacts us, like if something triggers our fear, for example, during the pandemic, our fears were so triggered multiple times a day that we go straight into the emotional mind, the subconscious mind. And so any critical thinking that's required, we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it because we are in our fear. When you're in your fear, you're in fight or flight. You're on survival. You're not going to evaluate. You're just going to run for your life. You're not going to be thinking, is this information true? What are the news saying? Let me look at the numbers. You're not going to do that, right? You're just going to think about who can save me. That's where you're going to be.